What's up guys, it's that Panda Guy. I'm here again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Miyamoto Doichi, and I'm going to be throwing myself around in a few topics before I completely get into them. If you want to know exactly where I start reviewing the hero, if you want to dodge this, I should be putting it in the comment section, okay? But we're going to talk about a few things so I can give you guys my thoughts on why I don't like, where I kind of put him in the hero scale, right? The rating and all that, and just talk a bit about that. One thing I also wanted to mention at the beginning of this video, and I'm going really fast so you guys aren't here for a long time because I don't want to waste your time. One thing I wanted to mention real quick though, I know a lot of people were worried about the fact that there's new heroes coming out and you might miss Peterson, etc. and all that. I did confirm with the admins, and if they're somehow wrong, it's not my fault, okay? But I confirmed with the admins, and they said the same heroes that were already mentioned should be included. So it should be 3 hero options now in Top Commander, 3 hero options in Roulette, for example. So you should be able to obtain the new hero, in Top Commander and all that. You should be able to obtain Peterson. You should be able to obtain Eddie, whatever, right? I also wanted to mention real quick that Miyamoto is a roulette hero, okay? And now let's scroll up. So I wanted to just tell you guys real quick my kind of thoughts where he's at. I will say about Riven and Miyamoto, like Riven, I've kind of put her in this spot where I don't hate her, I don't think she's bad, but I don't think that she's game changing, right? And honestly, considering that she's a top commander hero and she kind of I get like this weird feeling between the two. Like I can't really decide who offers me more. And in all honesty, I think it's going to end up being Miyamoto because she does look like she's a little bit more tailored towards garrisoning and not being like a specializer anywhere else. But Miyamoto, he definitely seems like he gives more value, and the fact that he's also a roulette hero does make him a little bit more appealing to me, since he is much more easily obtainable, right? But I will say, when I kind of compare him to a Dud or something, like a Dud, I think a Dud's just better than him, especially like being that the thing that I kind of will consider him maybe good at is going to be like 1v1 situations, or just being really good on the field at being fast, etc., right? So I do think that a Dud's still going to outclass him in any case. But when it comes down to someone like Eddie, like I wanted to just tell you guys why I kind of think that Eddie is overall better, but I was debating with one of my friends, a series or whatever, and a series was arguing with me that Miyamoto is probably going to be better as like a general fighter on the field and stuff, and he was just arguing the fact that a lot of Eddie's skills like maybe like rely on like counter damage and all this type of stuff, and I still think that Eddie's stats are really good. I still think that his skills are really good overall, but he did make a good point to say like just like how Miyamoto specializes and stuff. So I will say Miyamoto might be a bit better at like 1v1 situations, but overall I think Eddie is still the better hero. This is why if you were to invest in a hero, I personally would recommend Eddie, but I wanted to say real quick that you guys should base what you pick off your playstyle, right? Because a lot of what I base mine off of is, maybe for example, I like the fact that I can siege with him, as well as the fact that he's a really good field fighter. He still does really good damage for me. I like the fact that I can do all this stuff. I like the fact that I can counter rally and I can have all this counter damage, so when he's getting swarmed or something, he's really putting up some work. So overall, I think that Eddie is just an amazing hero, and I love Eddie, you know what I mean? I just like have a ton of love for Eddie, and I don't see Miyamoto outclassing him. In any case, Miyamoto might outclass heroes like Robert, maybe Reigro, just like other heroes like that. So I do think that he has a place on the field and stuff, but I don't see him making massive waves for me just yet. You know what I mean? It's not like these heroes are going to be some big changes that are going to like shake the Doomsday, like make me drop my Peterson or something. Okay, but now we're going to hop into his skills and stuff, and I will have a time stamp in the comments for this area hopefully. But yeah, let's hop into it. So his first skill, it deals damage to up to 3 enemy squads in a fan-shaped area, and this basically has a damage factor of up to 13,000 damage taken by each enemy squad. It reduces it by 20% for every enemy squad I guess hit, right? So up to 3 squads you can reduce it by 20% for every additional enemy squad hit. And the one thing I wanted to mention when talking about this one specific skill is I kind of dislike it, and it's not because I like the skill itself is bad, but when I looked at heroes like Jacob or Lewis, you guys will notice something, but there's a 15% squad reduction, damage reduction, right? When you look at these heroes, right, there's a 15% squad damage reduction on these heroes, whereas per squad, I mean, right? Because like the more squads it hits, the more the damage reduction is. But in this case, it's 20%, which is a little bit more absurd to me, considering the fact that this is an infantry hero. So like even without this extra damage reduction, he's an infantry hero, right? So if you're leading infantry on the field, that infantry damage is going to be far less than something like a range hero would be dishing out, because range just has a higher attack as as a troop type, right? So it is a bit absurd to me that they did this to him. I still think the skill is good. I just think like that is kind of stupid and annoying, and like adding that extra 5% was just something that kind of ticked me off. Second skill, okay? Counterattacks have a 20% chance and 20% chance to reduce enemies' HP by up to 27% for 3 seconds. When leading only infantry squads, damage increases by up to 12%. I will say these percent, like the damage increase is a little bit low. Like I would have liked more than just 12%. Like it's still something. It's just kind of low for me, kind of looking at that. The HP reduction, pretty good skill. I just like I'm not like a big fan of the trigger rate kind of stuff. That's one of my more plain issues about this. So like the second skill is kind of iffy to me. Skill 3, okay? Infantry squad attack up to 30%, which is pretty nice, a 30% infantry squad attack, that's pretty nice. Infantry squad travel speed up to 15%, and I want to make a note, when you awaken this hero, that 30% of infantry squad attack goes up to 40%, and that infantry squad travel speed goes from 15% to 25%, and that is pretty significant. And this is one thing that I was being told like a Dut and him would be a really good duo for, because a Dut Dut has a really good travel speed, as well as Miyamoto in this case, especially if you awaken him. So not only are they just going to be a really fast infantry squad, right, infantry pair, just a really good damage duo, you know what I mean? So now we're going to look at his last skill, infantry squad defense. 20%, right, up to 20%, and counterattacks have a 20% chance of reducing skill damage dealt by the enemy by up to 28% for 3 seconds. That's pretty nice. I usually hate like the what is it, sorry, I'm like freaking stumbling my words. I usually hate the 20% trigger rate. The one thing I want to know is if like he's getting swarmed or something, right? Does this like for example, if 5 marchers are hitting you at one time, and just one of those maybe trigger it, is it going to just like work for all of them? And I guess like can this constantly be triggered, meaning like you're going to nonstop trigger this skill that reduces any skill damage you're taking by 28%? If that's the case, that is a pretty good skill, honestly, you know what I mean? Because when you're getting hit by 5 squads, that 20% chance goes up quite a lot, you know what I mean? Especially if you're getting swarmed, and even if you're not, it's like, this is still counterattack damage and all that. And yeah, overall, not a bad skill, not bad stats here. The one issue I would have is that 20% instead of 15% reduction they put there. It just feels like they wanted to like debuff the hero a little bit. And there's just like the this one where I feel like the stats are a little bit low. I always hate the 20% trigger rate. This is still counterattack thing though, so if it's kind of like the 4th skill, this might actually end up being very useful at like triggering a lot. But it says reduces the enemy HP by 27%, so I don't think this is gonna like go towards every single hero that's hitting him. You know what I mean? Well, so this might actually be selective. So I don't think it's like applying to all the squads. Let me take that back. I don't know, man. Like I don't like have him in high hopes, honestly. I feel like there's a lot of people who hype this hero up, and I don't think he's gonna be bad. Like I think he's still gonna be a good hero. I just can't imagine him surpassing someone like Eddie or a Dut or any of those type of heroes, you know what I mean? Like those really good damage dealers, you know what I mean? Even like I feel like even Robert, right? Still kind of, I don't know who's better, honestly, between Miyamoto and Robert. I might be a hater right now on Miyamoto. Maybe I'll change my mind when like I get more information on him. I just like don't have really high hopes for Miyamoto either. Like I honestly feel like these new heroes are kind of a letdown, and that might not be a bad thing, as I don't feel as inclined to invest in them. I will definitely unlock them at the very least, but investing in them, I am very shaky about. I'm very contemplative about. But yeah, you guys give me your thoughts on these new heroes. Tell me if you guys are disagreeing with my opinion, if you guys think that he has some high hopes or something and I'm just overlooking it and I'm being a hater. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys as always for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I hope my opinion gave some food for thought. So you guys have a great day or night though, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And that is it. Peace out.